Introduction in Operating System. So here I am referring this book, that is Operating System Concept, which is written by these three authors. So let us understand what is operating system. So operating system, it's a program. Operating system is managed the computer hardware. So basically it's an intermediate between user and computer hardware. So you can see this figure. So let's say for example user is using text editor. So text editor is a software. So they are using the text editor. They are typing something into that from keyboard. So they are using a keyboard which is a computer hardware. So this computer hardware is accessed with the help of operating system. So operating system cannot provide anything to user, but with the help of operating system, user can perform multiple tasks. So there is a two view, user view and system view. So the first view is user view. This is single user. So they can sit in front of the laptop or their PC and they do their activities. The second is through terminal. We all of us know ATM machine. So there is a terminal, and from that terminal either you can withdraw or deposit money. The next is workstation. Single user is handle multiple systems. Let's say the one system is basically to editing your videos. Second machine is nothing to apply the effect on that videos, and the third machine is basically used to deploy that videos. The next is mobile device. We all of us know the mobile device. The next, then home appliances. There are a number of home appliances available that user can interact with that home appliance. So next is home appliances. There are a number of home appliances that user can interact with that. For example, Instapot. So next view is a system view. So OS is a resource allocator and control program, because OS is allocating the resources to user. OS can control program, and OS can control the error. Then it will improper use of computer system also. It should not be there with the help of operating system. So these are some operating system where we can see in detail: mainframe, desktop, multiprocessor, distributed, cluster, real-time, handheld. So very first is mainframe system. So it was a first computer, and basically it was used for the commercial and scientific application. So this mainframe system is consist of three systems: batch, multi-program and time sharing system. So batch system is nothing but all similar needs of jobs are batched together and executed. So for this batch system, basically this computer is run from a console. These are the input devices they use, that is tape driver, card reader, and output devices is nothing but tape driver, card reader and punch card. So I will give you example of a card reader. We all of us know there is a magnetic chip on debit or credit card. So through that magnetic chip, all the user details, informations will be it will be stored into that magnetic chip. So this is nothing but the example of a card reader. This is how the batch system is work. The next is multi-program system. So in this system, CPU never sit in idle state. Means for example, if any job need to wait, at that time operating system switch to the another job. So with the help of this system, we can increase the CPU utilization. So from this figure, you can easily understand that number of jobs are available. So if any job need to in a wait state, then operating system switches to another job for the execution. So I will tell you the real-time example of a multi-program system. We all of us know the lawyer cannot stick to one case. If there is a case which need paperwork and it's so time-consuming process, so paperwork need extra time. So at that time, lawyer cannot stick to that case. So lawyer can study on different cases. This is nothing but the real-time example of multi-program system. The next system is a time-sharing system. So where in this system many users share the system simultaneously, and if system is switches from one user to another user, every user feel that this system is dedicated to her or him use only, even if the system is shared to the all user. So let's say any input output operation required some time. So in between that, the system can switch to the another process. This is the desktop system. So in 1917, our first personal computer was established. In this era, there is no protection for user and operating system. There is no multitasking and multi-user was involved. After that, there is a two system was introduced, that is Microsoft Windows and Apple. So from the Microsoft Windows, there is MS-DOS system was introduced. So later this MS-DOS was upgraded by the IBM and the name given is OS2. Then the Apple operating system is used for the virtual memory and multitasking. And then later Linux and Unix like operating system also become popular. Then multiprocessor system. It is also called as a parallel system or a tightly coupled system. So these systems having three advantages: increase the throughput, economy of scale, and increase the reliability. So increase the throughput means more tasks will be executed within the less time. Economy of scale means in terms of cost. It's a parallel system, so you can save money because resources are shared to the multiple system. The next is increase reliability, means if any one server get failed, it will not affect to the entire system. It will continue the provide the service with proportional to the level of surviving the hardware. That is called as a graceful degradation, and system designed for this graceful degradation is called as a fault tolerance. In this system, there is one system is there, that is tandem system. That is nothing but if failure is detected, then in this situation both hardware and software duplication is there for continue of a process, continue of operation. So there are two processors, one is a primary and second is a backup. So in both process, copy of the data is present. If failure is detected, then backup copy will be activated and your system will be restarted. But this system is expensive. There are two common multiprocessor systems, symmetric and asymmetric. So symmetric is nothing but the peer-to-peer and asymmetric is nothing but the master-slave relationship. So peer-to-peer is nothing but every process has a copy of that operating system and these copies are communicated with each other. That is called as a peer-to-peer. And master-slave means there is a one master and others are the slave. So master is provide the task to the slave and slave is complete those tasks. Distributed system. So this distributed system also called as a loosely coupled system. This system is basically depend on networking. So what is networking? Networking is nothing but two or more system is communicated with each other. This system is contain two systems, peer-to-peer and client-server system. So basically this system is based on network. So there are number of protocols of network. So TCP/IP is the most common protocol. So There are different network also available: LAN network, WAN, MAN, small area network. So LAN is nothing but within room, within building, all the systems can communicate with each other. WAN is nothing but between two cities or between two buildings, the system can communicate with each other. MAN is nothing but between the two buildings within city. And small area network, the best example is Bluetooth. So there are some media to carry this network. Means through some media, this network or this system can communicate with each other within a network. So copper wire, fiber, satellite, microwave dish, radios, these are some media. So this is client server system. So this server system is divided into two systems, that is compute server system and file server system. So compute server system is nothing but perform the necessary action on client request and provide the result to the client. That is nothing but compute server system. File server system means provide the file system interface to user. User can upload the file, delete the file, read the file, and so on. So this is the diagram of the client server system, where number of clients can communicate with the server within a network. This is peer-to-peer system. Basically this system can communicate with each other via the communication line, high speed bus, telephone line. That is nothing but loosely coupled system. Then cluster system. So in this system, computer can share storage and closely link via LAN network. So there are three clusters is there: asymmetric, symmetric, and parallel cluster. So asymmetric clustering means there are two machines is there. So one machine is, let's say, it's a hot standby mode and it monitor the active server, and second machine is running the application. So if server fail, then hot standby machine become active server. Then symmetric mode, there are two or more hosts are available and application is run on every host and they monitor each other. The next is a parallel cluster, which is allow the multiple hosts to access the data on shared storage. So in this parallel cluster, we need to provide the access control, locking to the files for ensure that there is no conflict operation will be there. So there is a service which is called distributed lock manager, because multiple hosts are accessing the data which is on a shared storage. So it may happen that confliction may happen. So for that purpose there is one concept, that is distributed lock manager. Real-time system. The best example for the real-time system is home appliances. So in real-time system, if system fail, then you cannot instruct to the system. Let's say a robot arm is destroyed, then after that robot cannot perform anything, so you cannot give the instruction to that robot. So there are two types, is hard and soft real time. So hard real time system means tasks need to complete within time. For example, railway signal system. So these system output need to be performed immediately. Delay will not be considered. But in soft real time system, delay can be considered. For example, web browsing. If you browse anything, delay may happen. If delay is happening in a soft real time system, it will not any bad impact. And then last is handheld system. Mobile phones. This is the example of the handheld system. So this handheld system is contain the PDA and cellular telephone. So when developer today's handheld system, they may face many challenges because typical size of PDA is 5 inches in height and 3 inches in width. Because of the small size, it reflects the small size in memory, slow in processor, small display screen. If you want a faster processor, then we require a large battery. So on handheld system, we can browse anything. We, uh, we can see the contents on the web browser. So this is nothing but a web clipping. And also in handheld system, we can use Bluetooth connectivity, camera, MP3 player, and so on. So this is just a basically overview of this all system. Thank you.